guys, so I just give it a bit of a rub. 2019 bushfires were pretty horrific, considered fireproof for this area. Kirsty from Shelter Building Design.
The original house on the site was lost during the 2019 bushfires. The brief really was non-combustible, but also they wanted to build back more sustainably. The house ended up being a slightly unusual shape.
Will from Respirabuilt and Hempcrete Victoria.
I started Hempcrete Victoria after hempcreting over in the UK. Hempcrete's a great option really for those fire-prone areas. Integrate prefabricated solutions for hempcrete for people on a lower budget. When we're doing the cast and block hempcrete version, on the outside of the house, we're using a prefabricated hempcrete block.
Echo and reverb. Just listen to the sound change as I move from here over into this room. So you can hear that suddenly the sound is completely dampened. Movie room. That's why having these sound dampened walls makes sense. Sound insulation, fireproof, temperature insulation, bug proof. I can count 5 reasons why hempcrete is a good choice for a house. So this concrete slab kind of acts as a battery. Thermal mass here, it's nice and cool because that concrete slab will release the cool air back into the building. Hey guys, Jeremy here from Environmentarian. This time I am a couple of hours south of Sydney at an area called Malua Bay. The house was designed by Kirsty Wulf of Shelter Building Designs and built by Jace from JV Building Contractors. One of the contractors was Will from Hempcrete Victoria, who installed the hempcrete walls. So we'll take a look inside in a moment, but let me just show you why this house is important and significant for this area. So you can see the lovely bushland behind me, but of course you can see the blackened tree as well. A lot of the bushland has grown back after the 2019 fires, and you can hear also the lovely cicadas in the tree at this time of year buzzing away. So there's plenty of wildlife still, but there is definitely a significant impact on the trees around here from the bushfires in 2019. So I'll just flip the camera around. And so this is the tree here, and if I just give it a bit of a rub, you can see that all the outside is charcoal. It still survived on the inside. This tree has grown back magnificently, and a lot of the forest around has grown back. But normally this wouldn't be a bushfire area, but the 2019 bushfires were pretty horrific, and you can see that this tree over here did not survive, as did a whole bunch of trees in the distance. There is plenty of greenery, but plenty of dead trees as well. And now moving over to the house, this is a brand new hempcrete house build. Now the reason it's built out of hempcrete is because it's got a high BAL rating and it's considered fireproof for this area. The original house in this spot was burnt down in the 2019 bushfires. This house was designed to fit in the same sort of footprint as the original house. You can see the interesting roof shape here and the grills to protect the gutters from the leaf litter. So that's also a bushfire measure. So everything had to be bushfire rated. As we move around the west side of the building, we can see the sun beating against these walls. Look, those eaves are certainly protecting the walls from the sun a little bit. We're, not quite in the middle of summer, but getting there. And by the time the sun is super harsh, it will go behind this hill, this little bit of mountain, and will be protected. The house will be protected from these trees. As we go down here, we can see the water tanks. So we got these 2 water tanks here and the little pump in between, and buried down a little bit down the hill here is a couple more water tanks. So here we are on the southern side of the house, and this little area between the retaining wall and the house will have a really nice sort of protected courtyard.
Hey, just quickly introducing our guests Kirsty Wulf and Will Brain. We had a chat about this house design and the hempcrete installation methods. In a moment you'll find a taste of these conversations. For a deep dive into the interviews with these hempcrete professionals, I've created some podcasts here on YouTube and on Spotify. So if you're interested, check these out after the video. I'll put a link in the description.
Kirsty from Shelter Building Design, pleasure to have you here, do a little interview about the Malua Bay Hempcrete house. So you were the building designer on that job?
Yes, I was. It was a very interesting project. The original house on the site was lost during the 2019 bushfires. It made it slightly challenging because it was a slightly unusual shape. So to try and get really good access to both northern sunlight and really nice views to the east, that the house ended up being a slightly unusual shape, but that was really dictated by the site. The brief really was non-combustible, but also they wanted to build back more sustainably and a house that used less energy. They actually had been considering other materials beforehand. They'd even considered building an earth-covered house, but financially it wasn't really viable to do that. One of the owners is friends with another client of mine, the local Greens councillor in the Blue Mountains, and we had actually built a hempcrete house for him. He really loves his house and has quite often told people how much he loves his house. The owners became interested and contacted me and really were keen to know about both the environmental benefits of building with hemp, because they were keen to, as I said, build back something better than what was there before. But certainly it was the non-combustibility of the material that they were primarily interested in. Shelterbuildingdesign.com.au. Jump online, check us out, and you can have a look at some of the builds we've done. Particularly if you're interested in building with hempcrete, please talk to us.
Will from Respirabuilt and Hempcrete Victoria, you've got those two companies.
I started Hempcrete Victoria in 2021 after hempcreting over in the UK. So I came back and started a cast-in-place hempcrete business. For the traditional cast-in-place method of hempcrete, it's in a higher price range because of the labour requirements and the logistical requirements and the mixing on site. So it's out of the price range of a good portion of people. So I started a company called Respirabuilt, where we integrate prefabricated solutions for hempcrete for people on a lower budget. Hempcrete's a great option for those fire-prone areas. To the outsider, it's very surprising that the wall fabric is made out of a carbon-based life form of plant cellulose, that it can actually achieve the highest fire rating.
And so that's the hemp block on the outside, the cast in situ on the inside, that wraps around a wood frame in this case. And then you've got the mortar inside the hemp bricks, the render as well. And everything there is all fireproof.
When we're doing the cast and block hempcrete version, on the outside of the house, we're using a prefabricated hempcrete block that is installed just the same way you would install any kind of block or brick. So that's the first part. You've got your timber frame, and then you've got the hempcrete blocks on the outside. We only have to put formwork on the internal side of that wall. So you're skipping a lot of carpentry labour when you're doing that, because one of the most expensive parts of traditional hempcrete is doing formwork on both sides. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about.
Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, Will. Give so many options to people that want to build with hemp.
You know, this lovely view into this little valley with the ponds. What a lovely sight. Okay, beautiful day today. So the water comes from the water tanks and along here, and we can see there's a copper pipe that sends it back up into the house. And then this wraparound deck is also bell rated. So this is fireproof decking. And we can see the nice large windows here to catch that eastern morning sun. And this here is due north, and no doubt that shed will move one day. But yeah, so this is the north facing side of the house here, and the main living area, which is east north facing. Beautiful. So I'll step inside the house and just have a listen to see if the sound changes at all. So even with the doors open, there's a definite change in sound, and we can see these hempcrete walls here. So I'm in one of the smaller rooms. We can hear this distinct sort of echo and reverb that is bouncing off these walls. Of course, once there's furniture and maybe a carpet or some blinds up, then that echo, that reverb might dissipate a little bit. So these walls have been rendered here, and the rest of the walls are made of plaster. And we've got the lovely built-in wardrobe on this side, and it's sort of matched on the other side here on this side. So this room is a sort of similar size and design. In fact, the footprint of the house was decreased a little due to budget constraints, but a small house is much easier to look after and thermally control. And you know, we can still fit a double bed and a bedside table and everything that we need in here. We can also enjoy that beautiful view into the valley. Now, just listen to the sound change as I move from here over into this room. So you can hear that suddenly the sound is completely dampened. The walls kind of soak up the sound. And so that's the sound insulation qualities of the house. So we've got the sound insulation, the fireproof, the temperature insulation, the bug proof, the fact that it holds carbon in the walls. So just off the tip of my tongue, I can count 5 reasons why hempcrete is a good choice for a house. But I suppose in this particular location, the main component is the fire rating, and then to back that up are all the extra aspects. This room has an interesting shape to it. It just comes off the corridor and there's no door. So I'm assuming it's going to be kind of like an entertainment or movie room. That's why having these sound dampened walls makes sense. We've got this little unfinished piece here that looks like going to be ready for a wall mounted TV. And what a lovely spot to sit and watch a movie. Although I'd be tempted to be looking outside to the view. Would you get sick of that? Eventually. So when you walk in here, the dunny is quite quiet because of this one little strip of hempcrete wall. And then we've got the other bathroom here. This is, I suppose, the master bathroom. Gone for these blue and green and aqua tiles. It's a bit sort of water-like. They're not too far from the water here. Bateman's Bay then here. Again, another lovely shower niche. So let me test the water. The water hasn't been turned on yet, so we're still waiting for the plumber to finish off a few bits and pieces. And then a laundry here. And again, the laundry's been kept with this off-form hempcrete. And the sound in here is beautiful. I love the interesting angles. You know, whilst there's some quite definite sort of square right angles, which make it easy to build and minimize building materials, the interesting form does create some texture and some interest to the eye. It really sits nicely on the site, the old site. So the whole house has kind of large glass windows that are all lovely double glazed windows to maximize the insulation that the hempcrete walls are going to help with. So this concrete slab kind of acts as a kind of like a battery. You know, the thermal mass here, it's nice and cool still, this concrete slab. And if you close this door here, then you don't need the aircon because that concrete slab will release the cool air back into the building. So you're minimizing your expenses of thermally controlling the internal spaces, whether that's in summer where the slab stays cool, or in winter where the sun's lower in the sky and it will come in and penetrate and hit that slab, warm it up, and in the evening that sun will release back into the house. Well, another lovely visit to another beautiful hempcrete house. I hope to come back one day when the landscaping is done and really show it off in its full glory. Really nice to see it at this stage though, and you know, looking forward to doing more and seeing you guys more. Don't forget to check out the hemp building directory if you want some more information in Australia. That's at hempbuilding.au. My name's Jeremy from Environmentarian.au, and hope to see you soon. Like, subscribe, comment. See you later.